Coming up on Mountain News this morning, a community is remembering an educator who fought for their school when it was about to shut down. And Canadians are canceling their vacations over President Donald Trump's policies and comments about our neighbors to the north.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning. I'm Amelia Lee here with you on this Tuesday, April 15th, the time 5:30. It's time to bring Megan Dusmal in this morning on this tax day. And I love to keep reiterating that it is tax day today. Those taxes are due. I think it's a good reminder, and it's a good weather day to do your taxes.
It sure is a good weather day to do your taxes. Honestly, I'd say any weather is good weather to do your taxes on this day, right? Well, we do have a little bit of some rain chances this morning, but that is heading out as we're going through the next couple hours, leading to a nice dry spell for the next 2 days. We do have some more rain chances popping up in the forecast on your Friday, but you can enjoy that break for now, right? Let's not think about that. Let's think about how this is clearing out in just a little bit. Now, temperatures are a little bit chillier. There's a little bit of that downside to seeing those rain chances clearing. Good news is this afternoon, not going to be too bad. We're going to be looking in the upper 50s and low 60s, so good little sweater weather moment, maybe a sweatshirt. And then we'll continue to warm up as we're heading through the next couple of days. Tuesday's forecast, though, you'll see those high temperatures around that 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock mark. Temperatures will be staying in the 50s from now until tonight, as those temperatures aren't really fluctuating too much today. Amelia.
Thanks, Megan. The Cordia school community is mourning the loss of its beloved leader. WYMT's Caroline Mueller spoke with those who knew Alice Whitaker best about her impact on the school and the community.
Cordia School has always been small, but it is held together by people who believe in it. Few believed more than Alice Whitaker.
Miss Whitaker was just such an integral part, not only of the school, the community.
When the school faced closing, she fought hard, eventually helping pass legislation that would protect the school's future.
Because of her, thousands of kids in the most geographically isolated area, in a poverty-stricken area, got access to a great education.
Ned Pillersdorf is an attorney who worked closely with Whitaker during that fight. He describes her as a warrior for education.
She truly is a legend, a heroic figure, and one of the most people I have ever admired. I'm just devastated she's gone. I'm going to miss her a lot.
She's also known for providing food boxes for folks in need, even when money was tight.
She would always find a way to do the food pantry, which would serve, thousands of people each month.
You feel like it's more of a community than a school. Like she's always worried about if people have enough food or if her students are being taken care of.
Many students recall her giving spirit and say they looked forward to her annual Christmas gift of $2 bills.
I don't think that I've ever lost or gave them away. I have a huge stash since elementary school of all these $2 bills.
She gave everything she could to anybody who's in need. Probably the nicest person you would have ever met.
Whitaker remained a presence at Cordia until she died, still pushing for what was best for the students she never stopped rooting for. In Knott County, Caroline Mueller, WYMT Mountain News.
The family says they are working on funeral arrangements and are expected to share them today. Alice Whitaker was 85. It's been nearly 3 weeks since 81-year-old Philip Stiltner disappeared in Pike County. He was last seen March 26th. Stiltner's family says Philip is loved by everyone in the community. His oldest daughter, Lisa, says everyone at the local L&M Mart would call him Papa, and he was often there to talk with the workers and to get breakfast.
Right here in the refrigerator, and I never did throw it away. Right here, it dated on the 26th from L&M Mart where he went and got him some food.
Lisa says there's a bag of food dated from the 26th from the L&M Mart, the day he was last seen. If you have any information, you should call State Police in Pikeville. Police in Claiborne County, Tennessee are searching for an escaped inmate. If you take a look at your screen, you can see a picture of Larry Keith Poor. Police say he escaped while on work detail in the Oak Village Circle area of Cumberland yesterday afternoon. Police say Poor was last seen wearing a navy blue shirt and pants. If you see Poor, you should not approach him and then call 911. In Pulaski County, construction begins this week on a new connector route along Kentucky 1247 to improve access to the new Burnside Elementary School. The new connector is located just north of US 27 in Burnside. It will include right in, right out intersections, new access roads at C. Van Hook Road and near Richardson Lane, as well as safer, more efficient travel to Burnside Elementary School and surrounding areas. The Kentucky Community and Technical College system is celebrating a major milestone during Dual Credit Week. More than 36,000 high school students enrolled in dual credit courses during the 2023-24 academic year. In the fall of 2024 alone, more than 29,000 students took advantage of the opportunity, saving nearly $15 million in tuition costs. Dual credit students now represent approximately 1/3 of the system's annual enrollment. Protesters in support of public education access for children, regardless of immigration status, took to the streets in Nashville. The Education for All Tennessee campaign led to a march to the state capitol. The rally was inspired by a bill that allows schools to deny enrollment to students who cannot prove they are legally in the U.S. The legislation passed the state Senate last week. The House has not taken up the measure. Time is running out for Kentuckians to get their real IDs. The deadline is May 7th. Starting then, you'll need a real ID or a passport to board a commercial flight. If you don't get one in time, you'll still be able to fly, but there will be an extra verification process that will slow you down in the security line. In a social media post, Kentucky Congressman Thomas Macy argued against the enforcement of the Real ID requirement. He says in part, quote, "Real ID isn't needed and won't stop terrorists from hijacking planes," end quote. Trump shouldn't enforce it. As we mentioned yesterday, a mega antitrust trial kicked off that could decide the fate of the social media company Meta. The Federal Trade Commission is accusing Mark Zuckerberg's company of shutting out the competition and unfairly profiting from it. Meta bought Instagram and WhatsApp more than 1 decade ago when they were startups. Now Instagram and WhatsApp are social media giants themselves, and the FTC says Meta has a monopoly and needs to spin them off.
In the eyes of the FTC, one company owns too much of the different social media products that so many people use. But in the eyes of Meta, the parent company of Facebook and Instagram, they say, no, it's still a really competitive landscape out there. And, we are one of many players, and there is still a lot of choice out there.
Zuckerberg took the stand yesterday afternoon with FTC lawyers questioning him about the origins of Facebook and the concept of friending on the Meta platforms. Many Americans are worried about the U.S. job market. That's according to a survey from the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. It says 44% say they believe the national unemployment rate will increase next year. That's the highest response to that question since April 2020, which is shortly after the COVID-19 pandemic emerged. Nearly 16% of those polled also said they have concerns about their own jobs. Employees for the International Revenue Service could learn the fate of their employment right after tax day. According to sources, the IRS is expected to announce their individual decisions by the end of this week, the busiest of the year. The news comes ahead of Tuesday's tax filing deadline as the agency processes tens of millions of tax returns, payments, and refunds. NVIDIA is working to produce AI supercomputers entirely in the U.S. The company announced plans to build manufacturing space in Arizona and Texas. NVIDIA's Blackwell chips have started production at plants in Phoenix. Meanwhile, the company is building a supercomputer factory in Houston and Dallas. NVIDIA says it plans to produce up to $500 billion of AI infrastructure in the U.S. within the next 4 years. Canadians have long been the top international travelers to the United States. But as CBS's Christiane Benavides reports, a big chill is now keeping many of them at home.
At this motel in Hollywood, Florida, signs welcome guests in both English and French. It's usually a hot spot for Canadians this time of year, but not now.
At one point, I was like, oh boy, should we rename our reservation office to the cancellation office?
Owner Richard Clavette has multiple short-term rental hotels, all catering to Canadian snowbirds, a business he's built over 35 years.
I enjoy calling it Little Quebec in Florida.
Clavette showed us a stack of recent cancellations, some over the unfavorable exchange rate, but most because of President Trump's tariff policies and his 51st state taunts.
They don't like the political climate. They feel like the president is insulting them.
Clavette says he's lost half of his Canadian customers from this time last year across 7 of his properties, catering to our neighbors to the north. Nationwide, advanced flight bookings by Canadians are down 70%. The country is the top source for international tourists to the U.S., generating $20 billion in spending. Canadians are getting out of U.S. real estate too. Natalie Mancuso sold her condo in nearby Pompano Beach.
So it was political.
It was definitely political, yes.
Boca Raton realtor Catherine Espino says listings from Canadian owners are up. And she got this message from a prospective buyer who toured properties with her in December.
How he's treating our beloved country, Canada. I have decided to abandon the plans for now, and maybe my future travels to the U.S. as well.
Back at Clavette's hotel, this dual citizen says while Trump may be the reason so many canceled their reservations, he has none about having voted for him. You voted for Trump. His policies are impacting your business, but you don't regret it.
No, not at all.
Clavette's not worried. He says Americans are now booking the rooms in his little Quebec. Christian Benavides, CBS News, Hollywood, Florida.
The Trump administration says it's freezing $2.2 billion in funding for Harvard. This comes after the university refused to enact policy changes demanded by the administration. On Monday, university president Alan Gaber released a statement saying the university will not surrender its independence or its constitutional rights. Harvard received a letter from last week stating federal aid is conditional on the university reducing the power students and faculty members have over the university's affairs. When we return, new cast members for the Harry Potter TV series are slowly being announced as fans anticipate the long-awaited show.
And rain chances are exiting this morning. I'll tell you when you can expect the rain up next.